Hello and welcome back to an InGear Motorsport live stream. I'm Mackenzie, this is Charlotte. We're here tonight for our Porsche Cup mini-series, the first two rounds at the Catalunya circuit in Barcelona. It's been a few weeks off for live streams, but the drivers have been busy practicing away. We've had some other races going on. We've got a few new drivers joining us tonight as well, which is all really, really cool stuff. Porsche Cup cars, notoriously difficult. No traction control for one thing, but we'll get into some of the other stuff later on. So plenty of challenging stuff for the drivers. Charlotte, how's things going?
Yeah, I'm here, just.
Tell everyone what you've just been doing and how long you've had.
Yeah, literally just come off of a conference call American time at the moment, and the same last night, so I'm just about here. I think it finished about 5 minutes ago, so it's worked out okay. So yeah, bear with me.
Perfect timing to not get out of doing a live stream.
Yeah.
Okay, well, usual sort of format for our double race nights, so two 30-minute races. We'll get into the exact timings in a moment, but if you're new here, welcome. We can actually chat with you in the comments, so if you're watching along, I've got a screen to the side. You can say hello whether you're watching in Twitch, YouTube or Facebook, and we can see that, and Charlotte's got it as well, so we'll do our best to say hello and chat to all of you as well. So hopefully we have a few new people watching, and we've definitely got a few new people racing, which is great to see. Slightly new series. I've not seen as many people racing in the Porsche Cup series in the game, so it'll be interesting to see how many others join. But we've already got 17 cars taking part at the moment, which is pretty cool.
Yes, good.
Qualifying will start very soon. So in fact, let's jump into timing, shall we? And then we can give you a bit of an idea of what to expect for tonight.
I see that Chrissy made it then.
Yeah, Chrissy made it last minute after a potential shoulder injury. Well, a shoulder injury, but yeah, anyway. Right, up next, in just a moment's time, is qualifying. It's just started, but we'll be joining into that in a few moments once we finish going through and introing everything. Race 1 coming up at 10 to 8 tonight, and this, of course, all based in UK time. If anyone's watching outside of that, we occasionally get some. And then we have a little break, which says official practice at 8:20. That gives the drivers a bit of a chance to reset between race 1 and race 2. They are racing for championship points tonight, albeit there's only 4 races and 2 tracks. It's a mini series. The points will be totted up, so we'll give them a chance to rest, reset. We can also apply things like success ballast during the breaks between the races as well to the winning cars as part of our sort of championship rules that we run. And then we'll do it all again with another 15-minute qualifying commencing at 8:35 and another 30-minute race from 5 to 9. And they're usually wrapped up somewhere around 9:30 this evening. But something very important to note is that there will be a driver of the day point available. Some of you will have done this before, and we've got our regular voters out there that usually join the live stream. Not had anyone say hello yet, but we'll see. The loyal squad that like to join and keep us company while we watch the racing. But yeah, if you're watching along, you can actually give a championship point essentially to your preferred driver or your driver of choice. Towards the end of race 2, all you need to do is type their name in one of the comment sections wherever you're watching, whether it's YouTube, Twitch or Facebook, and then the winning driver with the most votes will get an extra championship point. It's getting closer each time we do this. The last series, I think it was less than 10 points for first and second, if that. So as it gets closer and closer, it will certainly help. There was a few drivers that were only 1 point apart, and some actually tied. So it could make all the difference as we head into this. We've got a few new drivers then for tonight, but I think while we start introing everyone and talking about what's new, let's jump into the game and see what's going on and where we're at the moment. So Charlotte, who are you most excited to see tonight? I think the only one that you probably will know from the real world is Wayne.
Is Wayne in it?
Wayne's meant to be joining. He's just messaged me.
I'm just having a look at the screen at the moment. So yeah, we've got a normal crew back here, which is really nice to see. So I'm looking forward to seeing Chrissy Palmer, in all honesty, because we know that he did call in with his shoulder injury. So well done for him for making it here, because we know it's a legit thing, not racing drivers with excuses being pulled out there. But he's been quite quick in testing, hasn't he? So it'll be good to see with that one. Really nice to see that Dan O'Brien's back as well. So he's back in the mix. I'm liking the fact as well that we can see some new names. So I'm sort of intrigued to see where they're at and how they're going to fall into it all, because we know that our sort of mid to front pack, not the very, very front, but that mid pack got very, very tight over the last series. So it'll be good to see if that kind of interrupts that kind of order. So we know that obviously Sheba Garage are usually in some form of procession as they're going around the track. So it'll be interesting to see if anyone split them up.
And you say that actually Neil Kidd and Derry Murray are 10th and 11th at the moment in qualifying. So 2 of the Sheba Garage drivers already keeping it nice and close. No Danny P tonight though, sadly. I think he has to work or something like that. I heard just very briefly before I joined. So a bit of a shame we won't have the full Sheba squad. We all seem to be one Sheba car down, but luckily for them, there is 4 of them.
Yeah, good to see. Yeah, I've just seen that Jack Taylor's name pop up. So we've got a full InGear Motorsport squad representing tonight. So Chrissy Palmer and Jack Taylor there together. And has Jack had an opportunity to put much time in over the last couple of weeks, or where's he been with that? He's progressing really well.
Yeah, he had been, and I know he'd started to do a bit of testing, but I think it was only a few laps a couple of weeks ago. So as far as that, I don't know if he's been on much at all since then, which is going to make it hard for him tonight. And he actually nearly didn't make it. He messaged me to say that he was heading back from work because he was out today. So he literally just made it, as did Wayne, I believe, who's just in the process of doing an update. I don't actually know if he's made it in the game yet. Yeah. So it's not quite like the real world, I guess, in that sense, where you're there at the track the whole weekend. Yeah. You know, it's something I still find quite funny that it's a race night. People just kind of drop in at the last second.
I still call it a weekend. So yeah, it's definitely a weekend. So it's probably worth factoring as well that we're in a, you know, we've done GT4, we've done GT3, we've done both of them a couple of times. But do you just want to explain to anyone that maybe isn't so familiar with the cars that these guys are using this time around? Do you just kind of clear everyone up along there?
Well, as we just saw Chrissy get a bit sideways on the screen, that helps quite nicely. But yeah, it's the Porsche Cup car, so it's a bit slower than the GT3 car, but a bit faster than the GT4 car. Flat six engine, somewhere between sort of 450, 500 horsepower. I can never actually pin down exactly where looking at the stats online, but somewhere around that sort of region. But they're rear engine cars, so you've got all the power going to the rear wheels and a lot of the weight of the rear wheels of the car. So you can get a bit of a swinging pendulum effect going on quite quickly, hence they like to go a bit sideways. So it can also sort of start with a bit of understeer that then turns into snap oversteer very quickly for you. So quite a handful to drive, which I think is actually quite true to the actual real like Porsche Carrera Cup car that you would get like the Carrera Cup Championship in the UK. I know a few drivers that have raced those and do say it takes a bit of getting used to, quite a hard car. As I said before, they don't have traction control, so they don't even have that to help them out with the tail happy rear end. So you'll see lots of sliding rear ends and tyre marks being left on the track as they go around, as Chris has demonstrated nicely.
Yeah, I was going to say though, actually, again, we've got kind of the advantage here that we know Chrissy from the real world. We've seen him drive, you know, you've certainly seen him race as well. Chrissy is very, very, very comfortable with the car, not having traction, being a little bit out of shape, yet being perfectly in shape. It's not an unintentional out of shape for him, is it? He knows what he's doing. He's got a very, very good kind of knowledge when it comes to the setup and the balance of the car. So I'm wondering whether that's going to really reflect on this and maybe give him the slight upper hand. I mean, he's currently just up on Dominic Stallman there. So Dominic's in P2. I mean, it's very, very tight. There's a 10 between them. There's nothing.
Although I do know Chrissy from practice can go potentially a tiny bit faster than what he's done at the moment. He's done a 47.0 when we were testing the other night, but that was on an older tyre compound, believe it or not, because the game's updated it recently. I think the new compound is potentially a tad slower, but it's quicker over a race distance. It doesn't drop off. It's got a stiffer tyre wall, again, just like the actual real world tyre of the car. So I don't know if he'll go much faster, but I think he might have a tiny bit left in the tank there. If he's trying to hook up a lap, we shall see. We've actually got live timing running as well. You can see it in the game a little bit, but over on the InGear Motorsport website, there's a live timing feed up there now, which Charlotte and I can hook into. But anyone watching is welcome to join and watch as well, so you can actually see who's where. So if you're trying to keep track of a certain driver tonight, you can do that to keep an eye and see how they're getting on. So where are we at the moment? We've got 5 minutes left for qualifying.
Yeah, so Wayne Clark has joined. So a little bit of background on Wayne for anyone that's following him. You wouldn't have seen him in any of the races recently. He's the definition of karting dad these days, isn't he? He absolutely loves it. But Wayne, again, super, super talented driver in the real world. He's raced very competitively. So great to see him on board. I've got no idea what he's going to be like on this. I haven't seen anything. So.
Yeah, we did a practice race last week at the Hungary Ring, and I think Wayne, and to be fair, I looked back on the replays, it wasn't actually fault of his own, but he got involved in most accidents that were there to get involved in, or people crashed into the back of him, and he had a bit of a nightmare for his car. It was a baptism of fire for his first race with us, so lucky for him it wasn't a live one, but it's live tonight. I know he hasn't done a lot of testing here. It's a very tricky track, Catalunya, to get right. It's quite technical and incredibly hard on tyres as well, so if you don't have that setup tuned in nicely, or your pressures are getting too high, then the tyres will overheat and you'll just end up on a downward spiral. So there's a few things like that where the drivers that have not put the time into practice or not been able to will struggle. But I know a few have. I know Curran, for example, is currently P3, was testing last night. So welcome back to Michael Curran, one of the resident Scots who do all of the series so far, have done all the series so far. He promised that he's going to rally some troops to come and give him some driver of the day votes earlier on, so I don't know if that's going to happen or not. Normally we've got Paulina in there with Danny P, but no Danny P tonight, so I wonder who's going to be voting.
So I'm just thinking about it. We're kind of creating our own little southern posse when we think about it. So we've got the Scottish side of things, but we've got Chrissy Palmer from Mercedes-Benz. Well, know him from there, but obviously racing previously. Same with Wayne Clark, same with Jack Taylor as well, albeit we've known Jack from Mercedes-Benz world, not from motorsport. But we've also got a new driver of Harry Melvin. Am I right in thinking that he works for Mercedes-Benz world as well? So
yeah,
we're getting like the Surrey post.
got the Mercedes-Benz world Surrey crew. Yeah,
So
a bit more summonness in here.
Yeah, a few more people, and then we'll start to even the north-south divide a little bit there. But yeah, no, really good to see that we've got a mix of experience, and I know that I think Harry's come across on iRacing. Is that correct? So not new to sim racing, but maybe newer to this game.
Yeah, I think so. I don't know how much he's done there, but I was chatting to him in the week, and he said he races in iRacing, like you say. So he does that with a group. I should have remembered to plug the name for him, but I'll find out for next time. He does race with like a group of other drivers, so I think he takes it fairly seriously. But he did say he was taking his time to get to grips with this, and it is a very different sort of kettle of fish, this game, compared to some other sim racing games out there. Takes a bit of time to get used to, but I do think it's very rewarding once you do. So he is down in 18th at the moment, just ahead of Jack Taylor, actually. I think they might have seen each other in passing, as we see Don Stallman losing the rear end there. Nice little 360, and on he goes. Get away with that in qualifying, but you won't want to be doing that in the race. And I think we're going to see a bit of that from some drivers. So I'm really excited, actually, to see what happens here. Anyone watching along in chat, do say hello. Let us know you're there. Good to see who's watching along, where you're watching from. I think there's a couple across the different channels, but yeah, do come in and say hi.
Yep, sorry, just checking the house cameras as they will start going into there.
What I'd like to do, actually, if we can, we've got race director Ben in the background, back once again, fueled by Monster Energy. If I could ask him to take us into the cockpit of Dominic Stallman heading into turn 1 here, then we can get a bit of a look at the Catalunya circuit. So the Elf chicane makes up turn 1 and 2, and then you climb uphill around the Renault curve. A really long right-hander. You wouldn't want to be a front left tyre right here, because look, right-hand lock, right-hand lock, right-hand lock, still right-hand lock, still right-hand lock. The tyre is screaming, and eventually it gets a little bit of a break, and we head into the next corner. Then we head into turn 4, which is Repsol corner. You can tell this is a track based in Spain. Renault, Repsol, and then into Seat in turn 5. Drops downhill slightly to the left, and the car wants to run wide on the exit, which it does there, but that AstroTurf actually zaps a bit of power out of the car, so you don't want to use too much of it if you can, so it's a bit too wide there for him. A little bit of curb on the inside helps the car rotate, but then sometimes too much. Get the power down, a little bit of that right-hand curve, and then we've got a fast right-hander. If you have a high downforce car, like a Formula 1 car, they could just about take that flat out. These don't quite have as much downforce as that, and a little bit more weight, so they have to take a bit of a downshift and a brake. Heavy braking into the hairpin then at the end of this little back straight. And then we begin to do a nice little 360, actually. We're quite good at picking when to ride on board, aren't we? Just to catch somebody going off.
We do jinx people.
If you're new here, we do that a lot. Like Charlotte says, we jinx people.
Yeah, it's looking like quite a strong grid. So we're just coming into the closing stages now of qualifying, and Chrissy there still in P1. Looks like he's done in times of setting a lap. I mean, his last lap was a 2-minute dead, or there or thereabouts.
Still on track though.
Yeah, he's still, yeah.
So I wonder if we could get jump on with Chrissy. Oh no, it does say he's just literally gone to the pit. Yeah, that's just updated on the live timing as well. As does Dom Stallman. Well, qualifying comes to an end. So as it hits 0, drivers that are on a lap can still finish it. So you'll still find there's a couple of minutes. Here's Michael Curran, who's just created his own livery for tonight. I've not actually seen this yet, so it'd be good to get a bit of a look. We do have a special camera that can do that, if Mr. Race Director wants to do that. Oh, he's got Greg's on the back. Look at that. That is a Scottish car if I ever saw it. Is that a haggis on the side?
Jesus.
We have a slightly pixelated stream so that you can see a better stream out in the live version. It's a sausage roll on the side.
Okay, well, I'm going to talk about more important things than.
Hang on, cans of Iron Brew as well.
So if we look at the top 3 then, so currently, I mean, we've still got drivers out there that could go and knock this order, but I think the order's looking pretty stable. So we've got Chrissy Palmer, who's set a 1:47.8. Dominic Stallman's only a 10th off, and then Michael Curran's only a 10th off of that.
Ooh, that's
even
good.
less. That's a really, really tight first grid. Now, we know that Dominic historically doesn't really make any mistakes.
Cool. All right, well, we'll go through the rest of that timing order in a few minutes, but while the drivers get ready for the race, we'll just run through a quick Discord ad. Welcome along then to round one, race one for tonight and round one of our Porsche Cup mini-series. The drivers are on the grid and ready to go. And Chrissy Palmer for InGear Motorsport stuck it on pole position after nearly not making it tonight. So great effort from him with a bit of a shoulder injury on the go. He's got his driver's excuse lined up and ready there if he needs it, but he's on pole at the moment, he's doing the job. Dominic Stallman, previous GT4 and GT3 champion for our InGear Motorsport series, on P2 alongside him. Michael Curran, first of the Scots in P3 there with the Greggs branded and Sausage Roll branded machine that he's put together. Then a pubber, P. Bover in fourth place. R. Balkman in 5th place. Stees in 6th, also nearly didn't make it tonight, so well done to getting on. Kidd behind him, Billingham behind him, who is actually another one of our newer drivers, so welcome to Billingham. Good strong first qualifying that, 8th place, well done. He's called Krispy Kreme in Discord, so I had to put 2 and 2 together there. Murray in 9th, O'Brien in 10th, Cliff in 11th, Heath 12th, Melvin, another newcomer, 13th, Portico 14th, Jude 15th, Muller 16th, John Kidd in 17th, Wayne Clark 18th, Jack Taylor's 19th, that's a right little gaggle there, isn't it? Macmillan 20, P27 is P21, D. Lopez 22, Rodriguez 23, and Calabarera in 24th. Let's go racing.
A big grid.
It is a big grid. Yeah, they do just seem to fill up right at that last couple of seconds, don't they? Well, Wayne Clark then, number 8 down in 18th on the grid. Keep an eye out for him.
He's also known as Destroyer.
Yeah. And that's in real cars that we call him that. So imagine what he's going to do in the virtual world. Anyway, orange car on the left of your screen is Chrissy Palmer, pole sitter. The darker coloured car on the outside is Dominic Stallman. And the car's getting ready, lights going out any minute.
Green light, go, go, go.
Green lights then at Catalunya for the first race of the Porsche Cup mini-series. Chrissy gets a good start. Stallman looks like he's coming under pressure from Curran there, and the other car just behind him. But Chrissy looks like he's got the right line and got a little bit of a gap just to take a more comfortable run into turn one. But the white Porsche goes round the outside, but I think he's going to run wide there. How on earth did he get that stopped? And that was one of those lanes I wasn't quite that sure of. And he looks like he's just actually held Stallman up, rejoining the track a little bit there.
Yeah, backed him up right on the apex of the corner there, didn't he?
Giving Chrissy a little bit of a go. That was Balkman, wasn't it? Yeah. Swedish driver.
Hey, hey.
Charlotte works for a Swedish company, so just getting inside there.
Not IKEA, hold on. Let's clarify that one.
Very good. No flat pack furniture. Yeah. I couldn't imagine you. Yeah, that just sounds stressful, doesn't it? Okay, well, Chrissy Palmer then off to a good start so far. Then Balkman got to get himself up into second after a very ambitious move through turn one. Dominic Stallman demoted into third place at the moment, and then Curran just behind him there. Looks like the next person back is Stees with the grey and yellow stripe. We've got a whole host of new liveries coming out for the first time tonight, so it makes it harder to spot people. And is that a penalty for Dan O'Brien, we can see on the screen?
Welcome back, Dan. We missed
good to see you again, Dan.
A little bit of a tap there.
Yeah. Who's that behind Steve's just there? I think that might be Dan.
Oh.
Yeah. Looks like he's struggling to get the car stopped a little bit heading into one of the corners there. Race director Ben will be keeping an eye on all of this in the background. Then you've got the multicoloured Shiba car just behind that. KXLY Music. That'll be Krispy Kreme or Billingham. Good to see you. Shannon is there. Shannon is there. Shannon says, I'm trying to get my words out now.
Pre-watershed.
No, this is the internet, we can say what we want. Shannon calls bullshit.
That's how Shannon drives going into a car park.
I think I've seen Ben Meeker do some pretty crazy driving like that before as well. So it's actually then the red, black and yellow, almost German coloured then Porsche that Niall Steeds is driving, but a Scotsman, very north in Scotland as well, sort of Aberdeen sort of way near Neil Kidd, so they actually live quite close together, a couple of the Sheba guys. Currently heading Dan O'Brien at the moment. Dan O'Brien choosing not to take his drive through this time. And I remember back in Paul Ricard, he just kept going until he got disqualified. So we'll see what he has to do. As long as he's not affecting others, then it's all good in our book. Then you've got Neil Kidd just behind him then in the first of the Sheba cars running at the moment. So sort of multicoloured, there it is on the screen at the moment, car that you can see. So that's on the Sheba garage, doing okay. So as always, that mid-pack looking like there's an almighty battle shaping up already between them. It's hard to see the gaps at the moment, but luckily we've got live timing that I can switch over to. So it looks like Chrissy's got himself about a 7/10 lead over the next car back. So we see a car disappearing off stage exit right in the background of that camera shot just then. So far doing a good job then with that shoulder injury.
Well, we shall see. We shall see.
Shall we take a look down at Wayne Clark, Jack Taylor, and see where some of those have ended up? They'll be a little bit further down that order, and then we'll jump ourselves back up to the top in a few moments. So Jack Taylor then not having the best of starts then to the Porsche Cup Championship. Limited testing, I think he was right. He ended up right in the danger zone, which wasn't good. John Kidd looks like he's ended up a bit further down the good where he qualified as well, as has Murray in 18th. Driver, yeah, I think we might have lost Wayne Clark, so potentially be back for the next one. The Destroyer is no more then for this race, it would seem. There you go, then another Sheba garage car looking a little bit sorry for itself there. I think a bit of an incident for John Kidd on the first couple of laps has cost him a bit of time there then. Billingham up into 13th place. Now, either Billingham is very talented and was commenting on the live stream whilst driving, or somebody is watching along on his YouTube account. So, hello, if it's you or if it's somebody watching for him. Good to have you on board, but that's a good solid position for his first race out of this in 13th. I know he said that he needs to do a bit of testing in the week and was getting to grips with it as well. So, good to see. We've got a John Kidd fan in here. Martin, hello, good evening. Yeah, John's not doing so well at the moment. He had a bit of an incident on lap 1 or lap 2, so it's put him down a little bit. Well, it looks like Dan O'Brien's still hanging in there. Still drive-through penalty pending at the moment on the screen. As you can see, the little DT next to his name. You get 3 laps to take that, and then you get further action taken if you don't. What do you reckon, Charlotte? Is he going to do it?
I don't know. I was just thinking. I was just trying to give it my guess what's going to happen there. But yeah, time will tell. I think that's one thing. I actually think we're going to see. Oh, and hit. That's Danny.
There we are.
So I just want to.
He can have his own series.
I don't think he's going to be the only driver over the course of the evening that he's going to get drive-through penalties. So if you look at all of them, and I'm looking at Neil Kidd because I watched it on the laps beforehand. All of them are exceeding track limits here, and it's because they're outbraking themselves or they're just running too wide. So the game will pick up on that. So I think you're going to get to like the last kind of third of this race, and you're going to see people winding themselves back in a little bit because they know they can't afford to make any mistakes. Usually, that's where Neil Kidd actually takes advantage of people, because if you go back to Paul Ricard, that's how he got the position up.
Neil Kidd takes advantage of people.
Well, you said it, not me. But yeah, I think that's something that we need to watch out for this one as well.
Yeah, I think you might be right there, and I think also overheating might be an issue. I'm just going to carry on talking over that one. Overheating could be an issue. You can see cars going 2 abreast, and that going a little bit wrong there. Who was just behind Neil Kidd? That was Melvin. Harry Melvin and Keith having a bit of a coming together there. I think that was Keith trying to make the move on Melvin, and it just didn't come off. So Bit unfortunate, that one. It looked like they were kind of too abreast, didn't it? And the car on the inside, which I think was Heath, but again, we'll need to look back on that one. Just lost the rear end a little bit. Is he in the chat? Melvin's not in the chat, but Heath is. So you may hear some expletives from Heath in the Discord chat for sure. Liam Sharman's made it on. Good to see you over on Facebook. Finally back to the hotel. How's your day been, Liam? Join us for a chaotic opening 10 minutes or 8 minutes. Not even that so far.
I was just thinking about this as well, because obviously I haven't had much to do with the Discord over the last couple of weeks and things like that, so I'm kind of coming into this a bit fresh, I guess is the best way to describe it. Everyone's on a level playing field, because I do think it's getting, you know, when it's GT3, GT4, there are some cars that suit certain tracks better than the other, and I think that's when excuses can come out and setups and this, that, and the other. Whereas this is just you've all got the same thing. It's down to you to make the best out of it. So one thing I have just noticed though is Chrissy Palmer has dropped into 5th position, so I'm not too sure what's happened there. Dominic Stallman is in P1, and he's managed to get a half a second gap on car number 223. So Pascal,
yeah.
Bobert.
Let's
go with that.
And then Borkman in 3rd place then at the moment.
Has Borkman been in your races before?
No, I recognise the name a little bit, but no, I don't think so. I'm probably absolutely butchering the pronunciation of it, but I do apologise to any Swedes that may watch. So, at the moment then, as we reach the 9-minute mark of this race, our resident German Dominic Stallman in the lead, and that's a sight we've seen many times before, I should say. He'll be quite happy with it. I'm sure far too many times for Chrissy Palmer is the words I was thinking there, because Chrissy, once again, actually got away for quite a good little start there, and has just got a little bit unlucky potentially there. Maybe he lost the car, I don't know. We sometimes have a bit of replay support in the background. It depends how many people we get working in the background, but we do have race director Ben back there. Chrissy going up to the inside into turn 1 then, trying to make the move for 4th. Is he going to make it stick? I think he backed out of that one a little bit. Now that was Steez when I looked earlier on. Yeah, it's still Steez.
This is definitely a battle to stick with, because Steez isn't the easiest part of the person to get past, but we know that Chrissy does have more pace. So it's going to be how hard does Steez now make it for Chrissy to get past here, which could, you know, it could start to back up and start to cause problems sort of further down the grid as well. So Neil Kidd, who's in P6 at the moment, this is where he could be using his talents of letting the carnage unfold in front of him, and then him nipping in and taking those couple of spaces.
Yeah, well, here we are then, riding on board with Chrissy, and Neil Kidd, he just mentioned, is in the background. You might just see him in the mirror every now and then, waiting to pounce. That's what I'm laughing at.
Wow. Just a bit of man. I just made you put your glass down. Bloody hell.
As Chrissy makes a move up the inside of Steez, and quite a good one at that.
I'll just do what she does then and just don't put it down.
Been a long day listening to Americans for you, hasn't it? Oh, Chrissy nearly losing the back end there at the penultimate corner. We're going to the tight chicane, a really hard corner to get right this. As soon as you try and put the power down, the car wants to go round, and you have both parts of that. And then it's a nearly flat, sometimes flat last corner, and rounds off the lap then. So Chrissy Palmer making up a little bit of damage limitation then after whatever happened earlier in the race to try and come back. Makes that move stick. Let's then see, where else have we got some battles forming up across the grid? Got the most horrendous quality stream here.
John Kidd is making his way back up the order there, isn't he? Because he did drop back down to, I think was he not down to like P18, and he's working his way back up to, or he's currently in 14th at the moment.
Yeah, we've got a battle with Heath and Melvin at the moment then. So you've got, in fact, we've got Billingham. So we've got 2 new drivers with Heath sandwiched in the middle of them. So Heath, the car in the middle, the white car at the front is Billingham at the moment, otherwise known as Krispy Kreme in Discord. I was really hoping to see some Krispy Kreme stickers on that car, but he has got some Sony stickers on it, I think, somewhere. Looks like Melvin coming back at Heath then, takes to the inside line. Heath manages to hold on to it for the moment and makes that stick. And the more them two scrap, that could potentially let Billingham get away a little bit. So Heath will be wanting to make sure that he doesn't lose too much time trying to get past, or Melvin doesn't lose too much time trying to defend, so they can keep moving forward. Because it looks like they're at a similar sort of pace, as Heath looks rather dangerously at that rear quarter of Melvin, heading into halfway around the lap there, turn 9 at Campster, sorry. Into the tight hairpin then, sector 3. Heath loses the rear end a little bit, nearly collects Melvin on the way, but that gives Melvin the place back. It just fought really hard to get past. Did just see another car out on the grass. We'll see the time screens up there. It's people just going off and disappearing everywhere. Yeah. They can't keep up with the timing board. It's all sorts happening, which is good to see. We've actually lost the best part of 7 or 8 cars as well from what we started with 24 on the grid. So lots of drivers either in the pits, disqualified, or left the server altogether. Wayne messaged me to say that he had a bit of a technical issue, so since he updated the game. So hopefully he might make it back in for another one, but had to leave this race so that he wasn't crashing into everyone because it was lagging. Well, Melvin gets the move done, is now released then to try and chase down up to Billingham.
That's right, my dad's just trying to get a job here within InGear Motorsport.
What does he want to do?
So I'll sponsor the trophies.
Is he going to post the trophies potentially to Germany as well? That's where it would have gone the last 2 times. And it looks like it's where it's going tonight, to Dominic Stallman then, currently leading this race. And he's done what he always does. He gets to that mid-race period and just kind of goes ching and checks out and waves from everyone, and he's got a 4.1 second gap. Not as much as perhaps we're used to, but a nice solid bit of breathing room for him. Chrissy Palmer looks like he's making inroads back towards the top 3, so a podium finish in 16-minute time might be possible. But yeah, he's definitely got his work cut out for him. As these 3 having a great scrap still. Billingham looks like he's come off worst of it this time.
Yeah. I mean, they've changed positions in as many corners, haven't they, when you look? I have a horrible feeling that someone, and I'm hoping it's only one car, obviously hoping it's not any, is going to come off not too well out of this, the way they're going. It's my honest opinion on this one.
Yeah, I mean, we've got Heath there in the middle.
Yeah.
That's Melvin leading at the moment off the pack of 3. So I'm trying to differentiate something on the car. Everyone's got new liveries tonight. We're trying to get to grips with. So Heath's got black wheels and a black car, and Melvin's got white wheels and a black car, and then Billingham's got a white car.
Melvin and Heath not in the same team, are they? They've just got very, very similar looking cars.
No, they should have their own livery, so I'm wondering whether it's not come on correctly on the server tonight, which is a real shame. But you know, race director's got a lot on his mind. He might have easily missed something there, installing the files, who knows.
Fish drums.
Yeah. We'll make sure we get some nice pictures for them out onto the socials. But I know the guys have been working really hard on these liveries. Looks like Melvin's got a little gap now, doesn't it?
Yeah, so Bingham and Heath are having a right old scrap here, and yeah, they need to make sure that they're giving each one another space. I'm looking; they're not in the same discipline either, so they're not. You know, we talk about this quite often, but there is a lot of communication that goes on. That's necessary communication between the guys, because it is different to racing in the real world, isn't it? Like you know someone's right next to you on a track in the real world, and sometimes you might pretend that you didn't know to get away with it, but. Oh, and as I say that, I think Bingham has overcooked it on the exit of the last corner, and it looks like he's had a massive moment there, hasn't he? And he's let 2, maybe 3 cars go through there. So
yeah, as comes another one then just behind him at the moment. It won't necessarily be across the.
That was just a simple case of put the power in too early, and you spoke about this right at the beginning of this evening that they are quite snappy, these cars, and once they're gone, aren't they?
I think that's Murray on the back of him now, actually. You'll probably get quite a nice rear wing shot of that. Hint, hint, Mr. Cameraman. Or a front or a nose camera, that, depending on how long it's going to take, because Murray is looking like he fancies coming past on this car here. Just looking at Sharman over on the live stream chat, that Kirk's livery took him about 5 minutes using paint, so I don't feel so bad for that one, but I know Billingham and a couple others took some time putting the livery together. So Murray in the Sheep Garage car, following the car that we're riding on board with then at the moment, newcomer Billingham. Based around the Midlands of the UK as well. So we've got a few drivers around the Midlands. We've got the little gaggle of us that are around the Surrey sort of region. A few Scots in there, of which one is currently running third. And a German leading the race of the Stallman at the moment. How is everyone doing in the live stream chat then? Ben's commented in there as well. What's the race director commenting on live stream chat? He's got a race to run. That's all that monster wants to get. It just gets him so buzzing. Do you know what? I'm sure we saw Jack Taylor end up in the pits earlier, but I've just seen him on screen. He's the orange Porsche with blue stripes. So Chrissy Palmer's just coming around, but Jack had a nightmare at the start, so he's now got Chrissy coming around to lap him, but I know he lost a lot of time. I think he was in the pits for a bit, getting damage repairs. And that's is that Steve's on the back of Chrissy still?
Yeah. Yes, it is.
Yeah.
Yeah. We got Mr. Race Director and I go, no, yeah, oh yeah, but yeah, it is.
So let's have a look at best laps then and see what sort of times people are saying. So Dominic's doing a 47.7 at the moment best lap. Second place had done a 47.6 before. Both lapping a bit slower than that at the moment. Then you've got Boardman in second. Oh, they're both saying up a second for some reason. 48.3. Then you've got Chrissy Palmer 47.9. So Chrissy's definitely got a little bit of time left in reserve. I wonder if whatever happened earlier has cost him a bit of time in either damage or maybe some tyres being flat spotted, anything like that.
It'd be interesting. I mean, again, you've had a little bit of play in this car, but tyre pressures, do we think they're all sort of relatively going on the same? Has anyone had any help with setup over the last couple of weeks? So, you know, do we think they're all going to be like fairly similar, or where are we at with that one at the moment?
Well, I know that Stallman has been working with Kidd and so Neil Kidd and Danny P and Steve a little bit. They kind of chase him around on the server sometimes, and I think they're kind of helping each other out a little bit with setups and that type of stuff. Curran's always very, very happy to share his setups in the Discord as well. That's so cool. A few people have used that, so it's good of him. Chrissy, I know, has been working quite hard with his setup when he has had time. And it's quite an interesting one, this, because the car I was finding was having to have a lot more pressure put in it than what you might do in the other GT4 cars. I know it's a bit quicker than GT4 car, but you kind of expect the pressure to be something similar. It's not quite GT3 speed, but particularly the fronts just need to have a lot of air pumped into them, where all that weight's at the back with the engine being in the back. It seems to help quite a lot, just putting a lot of air in the front tyres, but you run the risk of them overheating in a longer race distance, which the older compounds did, apparently quite badly. We haven't used the cars a lot, but it did apparently. And this newer one should last a bit better, particularly for a 30-minute race. If we were doing an hour or something like that, then they might struggle a bit more.
Yeah, and I think that that showed, didn't it, on the opening laps? You could see who was able to get some heat into their tyres and who wasn't. And you don't have that luxury, like again you would in the real world, of having a full lap to work those front tyres hard. So that's why the guys were kind of skating off all over the place. You could just see that they were suffering chronic, they're turning in hoping for the best and nothing is actually happening. And that seems to have dialed down a little bit, I would say, a little bit with that. So Chrissy Palmer's managed to get himself up into P3 now. So good effort there by him, with Curran still on the back and then Steve's on the back of him and Kidd. So that's actually quite a good little battle that's coming on down there. Meldon and Heath, I'm pleased to say you can still see that they're fairly close together. So it's not kicked off too drastically at the time that we've been talking about tyre pressure.
Well, it does, like Neil Kidd's got a rear end full of another Porsche. The number 76 of Jude is trying to find its way past Neil Kidd at the moment. Not managing to find a way in the early stages of the lap, but they're coming towards the end of the lap now. Turn 1 is usually one of the better overtaking spots here. Still not the easiest, but it is a very hard track to overtake. So it might be nice to sit on the either the onboard cam of Dew or is it Dew? He's a pubber, so he's not registered for the championship, but he has joined in the server tonight. Looks like he's got an okay exit, but did get a little bit of oversteer there. But with some flip screen, if he can get a good run out of here, he might be able to have a look into turn 1. Looks like Kid's got a slightly better run so far. And that purpley, pinky, greeny Shiba Garage.
It's very non-Shiba Garage, is what I would say, but I love it.
It is different, isn't it?
Yeah, it's pink.
Oh, nearly losing the rear end there. Looks like Kid had a bit of a hard time with it as well. And as much as the tyres should last this race, like I was saying, they will potentially be getting a bit hot at this point and starting to slide a bit more. And they can really catch you unaware, particularly if, you know, the rears are hotter than the fronts, for example. Before you know it, you're sliding around all over the place.
Yeah.
Kid's got a bit wide there. Does that give you a bit of a chance to get back at him?
Look at that. I think he's got away with that one.
Wrestling with the wheel there a little bit. Gets a nice run through here, carries the speed. Actually manages to get a good exit as well. This could be it going into the chicane. No,
he's playing fairly, isn't he?
Yeah. Puts Kid under pressure though. Look, the Kid goes a bit wide. He's going to get the inside line and take it up into cancer curve then. Fast right-hander. Nice shot there. That was good. Good job, Mr. Race Director. Give you that one. Put the Cannonmonster down just long enough there.
Now, will Neil fight back?
Neil's not one to do something silly, and he's still in the points at this point as well. Points at this point.
Sorry, Neil.
Okay, right. Shall we have a little bit of a look at the leader? Because
I feel like
Mr. Stallman's done a fantastic job since he's got into the lead and not put a foot wrong in a car that is very hard to do that. So there he is then.
I mean, his pace as well. So his last lap there is a 1:49.1. So he's not actually playing it that safe, and you know he's given himself a 3-second window there where he could just back it off. Not much, but you know a little bit, couldn't he? But he's still sort of cracking on at a fair old rate there.
Yeah, the only man that done a much faster lap there, I was going to say, was Chrissy on a 48.1. So Chrissy had second a lap faster from that last lap. Like you say, then the car immediately behind is actually a second slower than Dom, and the car behind is a tenth slower as well. So yeah, he's pulling away from the cars that matter, but Chrissy's just that bit too far back. And I mean, Chrissy was something like 10-15 seconds back at one point, and what's that now? It's looking more like 4 or something. Just waiting for the timing screen to update. Yeah, around about 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. Yeah, so he's pulled in nearly half the gap that he had after whatever happened early in the race.
Yeah, I was just trying to do a little bit of maths there, thinking 5 minutes to go. If he carried on with that pace, could he put himself in with a shout of P2? I would never say never. It's going to be hard going.
Could be possible. Could be possible. It's about well, as we can see, it's just under 2 minutes a lap, so 1:48s, 1:49s. So they'll get another 2 to 3 laps, depending on at what point John Stallman crosses the line to then start the last lap of the race. But yeah, Neil hanging on in points then. So first place Shiba car at the moment. Melvin's hanging on to 8th. Heath's still just behind him. Who else have we got in there? Jack Taylor is still running down in 15th. John Kidd as well in 14th. So that's a good result for John as well. He seems to steadily sort of move up the grid the more races that he does, which is good to see. Murray, after that bad start, has made his way back to 12th, and Billingham's still hanging in for a very good, respectable first result on an InGear Motorsport race in 11th at the moment. So good job to Ryan Billingham. Oh, look at this. Juju and Kidd, take 2, ding ding. Here they go into turn 1. Neil Kidd comes back at him then. Can he make that work? Looks like he will. Oh, tiniest little touch there. I think Juju potentially just hang on to the line a bit too long. And,
I was going to say, he held on to that one a little bit. You don't want to give up halfway through, but yeah, he held on to that a little bit longer than maybe what he should have, but luckily no one come off from that too badly. It's nice to see Neil doing like an aggressive manoeuvre like that though. You know, he plays it very, very well. He kind of usually sits back, watches the carnage unfold, doesn't really make any mistakes, does he? But it will get to the point where racecraft becomes really important. So moves like that, you know, keep sort of clocking them up and getting the experience of that is going to help over time, especially, you know, you're having that battle.
Yeah, and they've only got 4 races to score points for this series, so every single place is going to matter. That could be a vital couple of points.
Drop rounds for this?
No drop rounds for this championship, and no double points last race, which is usually part of our format. But for a double header championship, we've opted not to do that this time. But there is still driver of the day points available, so that could be quite an interesting one for people. See how that goes. Which is worth remembering, if you're watching along, you can vote for your favourite driver halfway through the second race onwards. Okay, so we've got another 30-minute race coming up in about 10 minutes' time, or we'll qualifying first, and then we'll go from there.
Yeah, and I've just seen that Ian's back in the chat, so hi Ian. I just waved to the computer then, but yeah, I was waving. good to have you.
Ian's not really in there, you know.
He's the other side bit, so it's a virtual wave to you there. Welcome back. It's nice to have you back again. I'm working on American time. Okay, I'm not jet lagged at the moment.
I feel like I'm working on American time as well. We've both been on a screen all day, haven't we? Going a bit delirious, but we're getting there. We're getting there, and it's been a good race.
It's kicked in. Right, we're out of it soon.
That's it.
Cool.
Depending where you are in the world. Sorry, go on.
So let's get back to it then with this battle between Melvin and Heath that you can see there on the screen. I'm surprised, probably pleasantly surprised that didn't kick off more than maybe what it was going to, because I think Heath has got a little bit of a reputation for putting these times. I'm trying to say it in a nice way. No malice meant behind any of the moves that he does, but yeah, they can be a bit on the edge. If you've got a good person fighting your case, you get away with them, but if you don't know all the ways and hows of getting out of a penalty, then yeah, you could be asking for it a little bit. So yeah, sort of half a second-ish gap between them both there, but it does look like Heath has picked up a little bit of pace here, and he's looking, isn't he? He's in Melvin's mirrors, making his car as wide as it possibly can be. So who's got the widest Porsche on track out of the two of them at the moment? So I think he just needs to bide his time. Now he's within sort of closing stats, and as I've said that, he's put his foot in a little bit too early there on the apex there, and yeah, all over the place now there. So what I was going to say is, if he just kind of kept that gap, just sit behind for a lap, unless there's an obvious move, and see where Melvin's weaker, and on the next lap pick your point, because you know there's just under a minute left. You can't afford silly mistakes like that, and unfortunately that's what's happened. Foot on the gas a little bit too early. Tyres are probably starting to get to the stage of being cooked, and yeah, Melvin's probably having a sigh of relief at the moment, because
Tom Stormanida has just crossed the line, or is about to cross the line, so we best get ourselves
probably give him a bit of glory.
So where are we? Yeah, we're about halfway around the lap. The time has just hit 0. So watching the race leader then, not quite a lights to flag victory that he's used to. He had to work for it in the opening stages. You can see Chrissy Palmer in the orange Porsche in the background. He's made up some serious ground. Yeah. So Don will know that for race 2, that Chrissy's got some serious pace. So I think we're going to have some serious fights going on for the win of this race in race 2. If Chrissy can keep it on the track, he should be all good as Jack Taylor gets out of the way.
Chrissy historically does better in race 2 than race 1 as well, if you look at the stats from the last couple of races that he's been in.
So rounding the final corner for the last time, managed to keep his Porsche race facing the right way as Jack Taylor disappears off into the pit wall sideways. Hopefully he doesn't take anyone else in the background. John Stillman wins the race. But what happened back there for the next second and third cars? Did they get round okay or not?
Yeah, if we can get the camera,
can we get the camera back to second and third? I think they definitely got caught up there. Yeah.
And did Steez take opportunity of that and finish ahead of Chrissy? Because
I think so.
Certainly looked that way.
Chrissy dropped to 4th then, so it was. So we got Curran ended up in 2nd in the last couple of seconds.
I love that.
The opportunistic Scott gets himself a nice easy 2nd place there on that last couple of corners. Well, that was Jack Taylor that was the cause of that, so that'll make for an interesting little clip for social medias at post.
And can I just say, Jack will feel absolutely mortified about that. He's like the nicest human being ever. Like,
He's actually in Discord. We can have a chat with him in a minute and see what he says.
don't, I feel so bad.
I'll put him in the chat with Chrissy.
No, don't. Well, I was going to say I still see each other at work, but Chrissy's Jack doesn't work for Mackenzie. Also,
No.
Yeah, that's on it.
And right, before it all gets jumbled up too much, then just to cap that off, Dee Stallman takes the win for round one of the Porsche Cup Mini Series. Curran stuck in there at second at the last corner of the race. Bobert also then coming in third. Borkman fourth. Chrissy then, I think Chrissy might have actually gone down to, no, he was fourth. I've got a random name on the live timing screen that keeps showing up, so I'm not sure what's going on there. Hopefully that'll reset for the next session. But anyway, so it was Borkman that was third. So the Swedish driver in third place, Scottish driver in second place, and the German driver in first place. I'll probably write some kind of start of a joke from that. A few different nationalities crossing the line there. So Chrissy in fourth, Steve's fifth, Juju fifth, Kidd then seventh. So Juju beat Neil Kidd to the line then. Although I'm seeing them, but Steve and I'm seeing multiple people on the timing screen now. But anyway, we definitely know the top three, and we will get the full results published out onto our socials in the coming days anyway. Plus, it's all available on our Discord server, so if anyone's watching along would like to join in the conversations or join in the races, then you can do that. Ian's jumped in for a driver of the day vote already. Give us a chance, Ian. We've got another race yet.
Eager beaver there.
Because it's you, we might let that vote slide early if you don't vote later on. But I mean, Heath did do a good job there in the sense of he had a good scrap with Melvin. Him and Melvin did good. Not Stallman who got away in one, but I mean, I know Don was having issues with the car a little bit last night as well. What are you laughing at?
It's all right. I'm just getting running commentary from Dad.
Yeah, I won't repeat that one. We got the tech-savvy Martin Burridge in the background who messages us on our phones during commentary rather than use the live chat, but it's always good to have people watching.
Probably good that he doesn't have to use social media, to be honest with you.
True, that could be a dangerous one, couldn't it? Okay, well, drivers then make their way into the pit lane. So just a quick recap of timings that are coming up next. But you will see another race very shortly. I'm actually thinking I'm getting internet connection issues, so hopefully you can still hear us and we're still live.
I just had to drop off the Wi-Fi.
Where Stretch is like, yes, we can hear you. It's all okay. It's okay, Ben. Have another sip of energy drink. You'll be all right. Well, if you're watching along in chat, how did you find that race? What did you think of it? Let us know. Say hello. Although I'm waiting to see if I can continue to see the chat because, as always, internet technical difficulties. Charlotte's getting a dongle out. Okay, well. So I think the guys might have to restart the server in game at the moment. So they'll be working on that, ready for the next race. But we'll see how we get on. Well, we've got a little bit to discuss after that. Charlotte, what was your thoughts on that then?
I was expecting a little bit more carnage than what there actually was, but I think it, from a racing point of view, you could see where people are overstepping it in terms of tyres maybe starting to drop off a little bit and just getting a little bit too excited on the throttle, not adjusting to it. So, you know, well, it made it quite exciting. So I'm kind of like, fingers crossed it stays the same, but at the same time, hopefully it doesn't. I'd love to see a wet race. Because it would just be carnage, let's be honest.
Like, do you want to see carnage?
Yeah. No one's going to get hurt. It's online.
I just see trying to look in the in-game chat as well. So I think, Melvin and Heath had a bit of contact. But they said sorries and all good. Kid and Juju having a bit of a pat on the back to each other for some good racing in there. And a little bit of chat about some liveries not working. But there we are. Such is the way for a new series. But all in all, I think that was a good, strong first effort from everyone. We had some good racing going on across the field. As always, that mid-pack was probably the tightest, wasn't it? I think we would have had a closer race at the front if it just didn't. There was a couple of things, if you remember, that allowed a couple of cars to get away at the start. Initially, Chrissy got a bit of a gap, and then Stallman got a little bit of a gap, and then something happened to Chrissy. We missed it. At the time we switched the cameras back, we see what everyone watching sees. We can't jump back mid-race and look very easily. So, yeah, something happened to Chrissy. I think actually we'll pull him up for a bit of a chat in a minute.
See how his shoulder's doing. Check in on your team driver. Make sure he's okay. This is why we're frantically trying to get all our Wi-Fi and things like that working in the background. But I think we're getting there. This actually terrifies me. So my dad has now moved over from a text message onto WhatsApp. So he's improved in a platform of communication. But he's now asking, how do I get onto live chat? Dad, for another day, I'm not doing it in the middle of streaming. Yeah, either go onto YouTube or go onto Facebook and get Motorsport. Jesus Christ.
Well, they're working on the server in the back end, but we've had the timing to come up during everything there for what's going on. Charlotte's got something to say.
Yeah, we do have a new team manager for InGear Motorsport.
Who's the team manager?
Betsy.
Oh God.
The family puppy is not just going to be.
I guess because of Shiba Garage, I get what you're saying. Yeah. So we'll have Shiba versus King Charles.
It could be a dog. My dad is now ringing me in the middle of a thing. Martin, I'm not picking up the phone.
This is live. Oh dear. Right, let's bring Chrissy up into the chat. So I want to see what happened.
And you spun into me.
Oh, Chrissy Park. I sound like you're mid-explaining what I was about to ask you in commentary.
Hello.
Sorry, I've just dragged you up. How's it going?
Yeah, I'm all right. Yourself?
Yeah, all good. I saw what happened at the end, kind of. What happened, sort of, I don't know, 3-4 laps in? It looked like you went from the lead to 5th.
Yeah, somebody went for a move on the last corner. Got their front wheel beside my back wheel and spun me. So
do we know?
That's what
Do you
happened
know
on
who that someone is, or are you?
There was
okay.
Boba, however you would say it, or Borkman was sort of 2 and 3 for a while, but we lost Borkman, I think, in the race. So maybe did he get taken out as well? Do you know?
I did see someone spin just afterwards on the at the start of the next lap, actually.
Well, hopefully it's him and then it's karma.
Yeah. But, I mean, that last lap was pretty mental as well.
Yeah, I was determined to get that position, but it didn't quite happen. And anyway, I don't think it would have mattered anyway. So.
Well, see, what are you reckoning for race 2?
Race 2, I'm actually deciding whether I'm going to race because my shoulder's really hurting and I'm dripping. So I'm just deciding whether I'm going to or not. But if I do, I'm just going to go for the win again.
Yeah, well, pace was good. I think you had fastest lap, or certainly at the end, you was a second lap quicker than anyone else for the last few laps. So pace is definitely looking good, mate.
Yeah, it felt good. I was enjoying the car as well, to be honest. A few little sideways moments, which were fun as well. Yeah, we saw those in free practice and quali. The car's having a bit of a slide, which is good. Yeah, I still haven't quite got the setup nailed. It's changed in the update whenever I updated a minute ago. I had to change my setup in pre-practice, so that was interesting. Yeah,
so it's mostly a new tyre compound, from what I know. It's a bit stiffer on the sidewall, so I think it seems to last longer, but maybe isn't ultimately as fast quite.
Yeah, I had to soften my tyres, so that actually makes sense. Yeah, they do seem a bit better over a longer period, to be honest.
Yeah. Cool. All right, well, I'm sure you probably want a break if your shoulder's giving you hassle, so I'll drop you back down. But yeah, cheers, dude. Good luck in the next one if you get it.
Cheers. Have a good one. Thank you.
See ya.
Right, should we have a little chat with Jack Taylor as well? Jackie Taylor, you're in commentary. How's it going?
Very, very bad.
Oh, Charlotte was like, don't be mean to him. I was like, I want to know what happened at the last corner.
Honestly, don't. Obviously, I've not had any practice this week, so I've been very busy with work, and I've had an exam. So I thought I'll race and see how I get on, because I did awful in quali. I don't even think I put a lap in. So I thought I'll just race and see how I get on. I managed to get up into 13th going into turn 1, which is all right. I held it for a while, and then there was something spun in front of me, so I ended up running wide. And then when I rejoined, someone was on the inside I didn't see, spun me into the wall. So my car was damaged. So I thought I'll just put laps in and see if I can manage to string together something, get ready for race 2. But yeah, last corner was a shambles. My car was damaged.
The car was damaged.
Yeah, the car was damaged. So. We'll put it on that. It weren't my driving abilities at all, I promise.
I mean, it was perfect timing to shake things up at the last corner. So that was good. Not so good for Chrissy though.
No. I thought I'd make the championship a bit fairer, to be honest. You know, obviously Chrissy's doing so well.
If you had to describe his lap, it'd be like Kyle at the end of that corner, Kyle at the end of your stag do, in terms of it being a bit messy.
It just got worse. But,
yeah,
that's good though. I think it's good that you stayed in, because you see, and we talk about this quite a bit, that a lot of people just drop out. But I think, like you hit the nail on the head there, it's about getting the laps in, and even if it isn't a race, it's still practice.
Yeah, like for me, it was just practice, because I knew I was never going to have a good race, because I've had zero practice on this circuit. Yeah. I did a couple of laps last week after the practice round, but yeah, no, I never put in the time. I just didn't have the time this week, unfortunately. But
no, good stuff. No, good for joining, mate. Are you sticking around for race 2?
I'll stick around for race 2 and hopefully try and avoid my teammate.
Yeah, it's always good. At least we can laugh about it in the virtual world.
Yeah, look, it could be worse. We're not exactly Red Bull, and you know, I wasn't malicious. Let's put it that way.
That's true. Cool. All right, well, I'll put you back down into the other chat so you can have a break for a minute later.
Right,
so yeah, best of luck. To the best.
Bye.
Good stuff. Yeah, I think they've got the server reset and people are kind of rejoining. So qualifying will resume in about just under 5 minutes time. So we're actually only 4 minutes behind where we ought to be. So that was a swift restart from everyone there, which was nicely done. Just a couple of points to say that, as it mentioned on the screen below us, there is a Discord to join up to. It's free to join. Oh, I can see Heath's livery now, which is good.
Yeah, that's cool.
I don't know if you won't see it yet, but you will in a minute. Yeah, so that's one of the things that you can do in the Discord is upload liveries and things, your own custom liveries and designs, which more and more of the guys are actually getting quite into now and putting more effort into designing it ready for each of the races. As we saw the Flying Scott Curran in that race had Greggs and sausage rolls plastered all over the car and some cans of Iron Brew. So as Scottish as you wanted to get, I think, which is good to see. So yeah, feel free to join that, anyone watching, and feel free to say hi, because I've got a screen on the side and I can see anyone saying hello and what have you in chat. We're going to have just a short break, so we'll leave you with the timings, but we're 5 minutes behind and we'll be back with you very shortly.
Oh, I like that. I really like that.
Hello and welcome back, everybody. So Kurt Keith on your screen there. As we're now 10 minutes to go for qualifying 2, so the drivers have just done 4 and a bit minutes of the second qualifying session tonight. Get the words out. So race 2 coming up shortly, another 30-minute race. If you enjoyed the first one, there's another one coming up shortly. And it seems like we've got a couple more liveries on display now. Remember, Heath was just in a black car before, so there you go, Liam, if you're still watching.
Yeah, I think it looks good. It's different.
Yeah, it was actually on our socials the other day, so I had seen it. Just I was trying to remember what it looked like. But there we go. So speaking of socials, we've got the one and only Mr. Martin Burridge now commenting on YouTube.
Strap in, people.
Yeah, be careful if you're watching on YouTube.
Throwing a disclaimer out here.
What you're going to get in that chat feed throughout this race. So I think we've had a couple of issues with the in-game server. The guys have restarted it, got it up and running. It looks okay for the time being, but it's not probably going to have as many pubbers join this one. So it's most of the main crew, bar a couple others. I'm just looking and seeing that Chrissy hasn't made it in, which is a real shame because he did have the pace. So it doesn't look like he's here at the moment. Oh, Roland's here. No surprise there, Roland. Roland voting for John Stillman to get the driver of the day vote. Of course, you can put that vote in there.
And we've missed you racing.
Yeah, we've missed seeing you out in our races, but I know I've done a couple of races with Roland and Dom in other leagues at times. But yeah, good to see you in the comments. Hope you're well.
And it's nice actually to have someone watching Dom because he's so fast. And we know we get our usual crew of watching and supporting the other guys. So yeah, it must actually be nice for Roland to actually watch rather than having the stress of competing over the next couple of weeks. So it'd be good. Mackenzie's just killed the screen, so I can't see too much what's going on there. Thank you. Back. So who have we got? So Curran has been very, very fast the last few times he's raced, hasn't he? Well,
yeah,
just going back, going back in my head, in the last series that we did, to the GT3 series, he's always been fast in fairness to him, but it feels like he's just kind of gone up a notch, and you don't actually, God, I hope I don't jinx this, but you very rarely see him make a mistake at all as well with that. So I've got my fingers and toes crossed for a better race for Jack. You guys heard it that he's had no testing, but then he was suffering with damage as well. So fingers crossed for Jack, because we have to remember with Jack as well, he's, compared to all of the other guys here, he's very, very new to online racing, full stop, with it. As is John Kidd, actually. So strong performance by John Kidd. I'm looking forward to trying and getting a Neil Kidd and a John Kidd battle happening at some point as well. But again, sorry, just why this is on my screen there, you can see that people are suffering with tyres, aren't they, on the first couple of laps?
Yeah, they take a bit of warming up.
Yeah, you can really, really see it. They're just turning in, they're just running wide everywhere.
I think it's partly where it's a rear engined car, obviously rear wheel drive as well.
Yeah.
So it's really hard to get the temperature in the front. Ultimately, you still end up with the back sliding, but I think it is that sort of initial understeer, then the front slip a little bit, and then it snaps the back round. So yeah, like you say, it just causes a spot of bother, particularly early on, and then the balance kind of comes to you as the car warms up.
You could see that with Chris as well, couldn't you? Like he was seriously, but where other people start to drop off, that's where he kind of come alive in the later stages of the race. So just making it work for you, isn't it?
Yeah, definitely. Although sadly not going to get that battle, so hopefully someone can bring the challenge to Dom Stillman in this one, because as I say, Chrissy had the fastest lap of the race last time out, and just that unfortunate incident at the start put him back a few places from the lead. But Borkman's back, and he was pretty quick in that last race. Curran wasn't actually far off at all. I think if Curran can get away with Dom, then they could have a little scrap, which is good. Let's take a look back at Mr. Wayne Clark, currently down at 14th. Yeah, he's made it back in. So let's ride on board with Wayne for a minute and see how scary it is in this cockpit. Wayne, like I to say, one of the group of us that work at Mercedes-Benz World.
Silver Arrows driver as well.
Yeah. So he's well versed in taking a car sideways in the real world, and as ever when we go on board, they pull over and then teleport to the pits.
Wayne is actually, why we let him pull over, Wayne is actually one of the combination where you, Chrissy, Wayne on the same display would usually be giving people in track control minor heart palpitations of what's going to unfold over a 13-minute display, because you three are the hardest three on the cars, I would say, out of the silver rows.
You can go sideways without being overly hard on the car.
How was that tyre delamination that you and Wayne both had?
Yeah, once. Very lucky we get to play with AMGs and do that sort of stuff. Well, yeah, Wayne's now left the pits on cold tyres. Maybe an even better time to see what happens. We will have a look at the pole sharp end of the grid. There you go. You did not disappoint.
Yeah, that is a perfect example to show what understeer is. So if people aren't familiar with what understeer is, you turn in and nothing happens, and you can see that there. What that did show though with him is that he didn't overreact to it. It was happening. He knew he had the run off to deal with it, and that's where like the professional in him comes out. If that makes sense, as much as the laughing and joking about it, he knows how to handle this. Like,
definitely. I mean, a lot of people would have just snapped off towards the barrier there at that sort of angle in a race car. And you've got to remember, you'll see some people in cars doing sort of obscene angles drifting, but that'll be when they're in an actual purpose-built drift car. Yeah. These things are not built to go sideways. They've got a very limited steering rack, and you can pretty much apply the total amount of steering lock in 180 degrees in the wheel. In theory, in terms of how much you turn it, i.e. you don't take your hands off the wheel. It's not like your road car where you feed the wheel through until you get full lock. Yeah. So it means you've got less lock to play with to try and catch it. So you've got to be pretty quick and also have a good idea of what you're doing with the throttle and the balance of the car. As in, you might be trying to walk.
I was going to say, you can absolutely see what he's trying to do there. He's just getting the heat in the tyres.
A bit of gravel.
Yeah, well, a bit of that. You never know. If in doubt, just go for it, kind of thing.
Bit of roughage.
I mean, that shows how slippery it is, though, doesn't it?
Yeah. So we're giving you a nice guided tour of the Catalunya circuit.
Wayne style.
Wayne Clark style. It's just like when he used to take people to the front of Brooklands Museum as part of his driving experiences at MB World. Sadly, there's only a small number of people that will know what that is, but anyway. The car coming out the pits on the right, stays out of the way quite nicely, good stuff. Well, we've managed to fill out up to 16 cars at the moment, which is good. We've had some phenomenal races with 6 cars before.
Yeah.
So even despite the server issues, most people have made it back in, which is great. So how are we doing over in the chat then? Don't forget, Driver of the Day votes can happen in about 10-15 minutes time as we start getting into race 2. Obviously, Roland, we will take your vote into consideration already, so that's already counted. And Ian as well. I wonder if Ian was doing a flying visit. I want to hear how Ian's doing. We've not seen him for a while. It's been a few weeks.
So looking here at timings, it's all looking quite close at the moment. So Dominic's done a 1:47.7. He's currently in the pits at the moment. Robert, what are we going with the surname?
Balkman. Sorry, Swedish people.
I mean, that's really bad, isn't it? I need to work on that. I work for a Swedish company, as we've
not IKEA,
not IKEA. 47.8. So only a tenth between those two there, and then Curran's posted a 48 dead. So really, between the top 3, there's only 3 tenths covering it, and I would hazard a guess that maybe, well, it depends if Dominic comes back out or not, but I would say there's probably maybe a little bit more time in the car there. Heath is currently up into P4, which is brilliant, but also terrifying at the same time. First lap.
Not far behind him, actually, it's Melvin.
I know, just thinking. I mean, we've got a Marcel Webber, so Jack did give a little Red Bull nod earlier about the whole teammates and having crashes thing there. So yeah, it's a kind of a Mark Webber-ish.
We'll go with it. And Weber, close enough. Heath up into 4th there, or was that where he was? I think someone else has just gone into 5th, that's what it is. And then someone else has just jumped into 4th. I'm just waiting for that to update. So Nus Nakapa is in 5th. Melvin's gone up into 4th. So good effort by him. Got some serious pace. And as we say, Melvin's one of the newer drivers that's just joined us for this race. So having a great battle with Heath last time, and he's now just battled him and scored pace.
He was P13 in qualifying last time. That's quite a big jump in the grid.
And there he is at the pit exit and back in the pit lane. Just as we switch camera, they go into the pits.
Still going well.
One of the bits that's not realistic about the game is that you can just teleport to the pit lane anytime you like, get a fresh set of tyres, put the fuel in and be on your way again in a matter of seconds.
Yeah, and again, probably worth...
There's been a drift there from Jack Taylor.
Probably worth us mentioning here as well for anyone that's a new viewer, the camera that you guys see is what we see as well. So it's not like other real life sport, motorsport, where we've got 6 sort of different camera views on the go so we can see what's going on. That way, unfortunately, we don't have that luxury with what we've got. However, we do have the luxury of a new timing screen that's actually coming very handy, I think, over the course. And as Mackenzie said as well, that is on our website. So if you want to have a look at that, it's on InGearMotorsport.com. And then Dad, I know, will go on it. So it's the big thing that says live timing. Dad, don't ring me and ask me where it is. Just throw that disclaimer up there right now and click live when you view it.
Tech support, live stream, championship, all rolled into one. And some nice camera angles from Ben Meikle there in the background. Well, look at that. Qualifying's ended just at the blink of an eye. Well, provisional pole goes to Dom Stallman at the moment. P2 Borkman is also in the pit, so it's only Curran that's still out on a lap out of the top 3. Heath could also pull something out of the bag, as could Weber. And as we get further down, Billingham in 11th, another solid qualifying for him. Jack into 12th, and he's got this lap left to finish, which will now be invalidated because he went a bit wide. So I think that is a good time for us to cut away for our quick ad break, and then we'll be back with you for the grid readout in just a moment. Welcome along then, ladies and gents, for the last race of tonight, the second race of our Porsche Cup mini-series. And technically we'll be halfway through at the end of this because it is just 2 tracks, 4 races, so not many chances to get points on the board. Dom Stallman then took the win in the first race, and then Curran got himself in second right at the last second, and Walkman's back, who had a podium finish as well. So looking at the grid then, Dom Stallman's on pole for this race, good qualifying by him. Christian Palmer's not here to try and take it away from him this time. Walkman second, Curran then in third, so strong finishes from all of them, and another strong qualifying here. Melvin, second race is done with us, now in 4th place, a great effort from him. Heath in 5th, also a good qualifying. Then we've got NRFRO, great, in 6th place, welcome.
Should we just call him N?
Let's call him N, yeah. Weber, but we want to call him Weber in 7th. Kidd in 8th, Neil Kidd that is. Murray in 9th, Billingham in 10th. Steve's in 11th, Jack Taylor in 12th for his second kind of proper time actually driving on this track. He's done a little bit of testing, very minimal. John Kidd in 13th, Wayne Clark, aka the Destroyer, down in 14th place. 15th, also Hooper, and number 72 Porsche. SRS Louis in 16th, Moman in 17th, and Rower in 18th. There we are. So an 18 car strong grid, 24 cars in the first race. So quite a good showing actually so far for everyone tonight in what is not a normal car that you see that often in this game, which is great. It's all a one-make series. Everyone's got the same car. It's the virtual world. They've got the same equipment. It is literally identical to deal with. It's just how you set it up and how you drive it that's going to make the difference. So made for some pretty close racing. Last time, it was the opening laps that were the sort of most chaotic, wasn't it? And then it settled down.
20 seconds.
What do you think to this one, Charlotte?
Yeah, I think you hit the nail on the head. If Curran can stick with Stallman at the start, then that should make for a really good race. Heath in P5 though, yeah, We'll see.
Watch, isn't it?
Yeah, I think sort of anywhere from 4 down to, you could say, as far as P10, I think is going to be quite a significant battle. You could say 11th with Stevie there as well. So I think it's going to be tighter than the first race that we had.
Where is Steve on the grid?
11th,
yeah. I know you just said it and I then couldn't see it.
And as we said that on the rolling lap, that was,
they've not even made the first couple of corners. He can regain his position though, and the cars will go apart. Otherwise, it's going to give Stallman. That was Borkman. So, Swedish driver struggling on cold tyres, pulling away there. But he regains his position, and has actually probably got slightly hotter tyres than anyone else now after that.
Maybe it's tactical.
Dominic Stallman on the left of your screens then in the dark coloured Porsche, and Borkman on the right. Lights going out any second for race 2. Green lights, and we're off then. Race 2 of the night at Catalunya. The drivers hurtle down into the chicane of turn 1. The Elf chicane, a fast right then left as they then climb uphill. Looks like Stallman's got a good start so far. Borkman managing to hold off Curran down in third. Curran looks to the inside, but I don't know if he'll be able to make that work enough to certainly get in Borkman's mirrors. Looks like the rest of the pack gets through okay. It was free of breast back there with Jack Taylor taking to the access road, but looks like he keeps running. Definitely saw a couple cars getting a bit of a scuffle back there. We'll find out how they're destroyed in a minute as Curran is going 2 abreast then into turn 3 with Borkman. In fact, that's not even Borkman, that's one further back. Oh, he just gets collected there, but manages to actually recover that. That was nearly a perfect recovery by Curran. Jack Taylor just dodges him as well. That was really good dodge by Jack Taylor, but then loses the car as he goes into the next corner and gets a little bit of a side tap from Curran. That was really unfortunate for Curran, what happened there. He really tried to hang on to that and just kind of got a couple incidents, and it was one too many. Same for Jack Taylor, who made a brilliant dodge, but while the car was out of control a little bit, just couldn't quite get it stopped the next turn after.
That was a shame for him there, because that was just got caught in the carnage.
And I'm not sure if that was Borkman or N, as we were going to call him, that caused that one. Yeah, we think it was N. I'm hearing in my ear as well. So looks like then Melvin's got away into third place. Borkman then did stay in second, and then Stallman. Yeah, I'm seeing so Stallman's in second, and Borkman has taken the lead. Yeah, sorry, I was just waiting for the screen to update. So, yeah, Borkman's got a fantastic start then after that initial spin on the part of the formation period. So it made a strong start so far, and Melvin then gets himself up into P3 after that unfortunate situation for Curran that pushed him back a little bit. So if you're Borkman at this point in time, what would you be thinking? It's like you're about to say something else.
Yeah, sorry, I wasn't even thinking about that. Steve's started in P11. Am I right in saying that?
He did, yes. Good spot.
And he's in P4. Well done, Steve.
Yeah. Steve man brings it up into 4th place.
Yeah.
That's a very strong effort, actually. And then he's got Kidd and Murray behind that, the 2 Sheba Garage racing cars. Steve's normally races for Fellas Racing, but not quite sure if they're entered as a team this time. I think it's just Steve, no Clinton. So potentially just a single driver this time. But yeah, 2 Sheba Garage cars then in their multicoloured liveries that you can see, followed by another multicoloured Heath behind that, thanks to Sharman's MS paint skills from earlier in his second. And Heath actually gets in a little bit closer, but yeah, not quite close enough yet. So Steves leads the pack then for 4th place at the moment. The top 3 have managed to get themselves a little bit broken away, but Stallman is definitely reeling back in. Borkman will be looking to make a move very soon, I'm sure. 9/10 back at this point in time. Melvin 1.8 back from that. So top 3 have got that little bit of a cushion. Then it's a few seconds back to Steves, Murray, Kidd, Heath, Weaver, all very close together. This is definitely the battle to watch for these opening stages so far. So what car would you like to be in that lineup at the moment? So you've got Steves in 4th, Murray 5th, Kidd 6th, Heath at the back of that little train, and then there's also another car behind that. Would you want to be Steves, or would you rather be chasing?
Sorry, I'm just in the Discord chat and I can hear that Wayne Clark has been causing carnage. So yeah.
He's still running though. He's down in 12th.
Just keeping an ear out for that one. Sorry, so to go back to your original question, who would I want to be out of that pack? Well, you'd want to be Steve, wouldn't you? that's the right answer. Just get your hammer down. He's got enough of a gap at the moment. That's down to Murray to put the pressure on, and at the moment Murray is close, but is he close enough to make the move? And I feel like it's Murray's to lose. But so Steve just needs to get the hammer down, put some seriously. But I mean, Murray's looking quick, isn't he?
Yeah, and he was a bit out of position in the last race, so we didn't really get to see where he should have ended up because he got caught up in a turn 1 incident or a lap 1 incident. And in fact, he's going for a move and putting Steve under pressure at the moment. Has a look to the inside, but hasn't got a chance to make that work yet. But now Murray's going to be coming under pressure from Kidd. And in fact, they're going 2 abreast then, the 2 Shiba Garage drivers. And Kidd on the inside then, potentially going to get the move on Murray. And that's where if you're going to go for a move, you've got to commit and make it stick. And in fact, the 2 Shiba Garage cars need taking each other out there. Okay.
Now, what that's done is allowed Steve a load of breathing space. These 4 here, all
still
5,
2 abreast.
They're just going to squabble, aren't they? For the next 3-4 corners, you can absolutely see that they're just going to squabble, and that will kind of be it potentially with it. So we've got Webber then, or Weber, whatever, who's leading that sort of secondary pack away from Steve now. So he's got to be careful to not get caught up, because what you often see here is a big pack like that will squabble, they'll drop back, and all that allows Steve to get some breathing space in. All we need to start doing is 3-4 attempts a lap quicker than these guys, which is easy done in that kind of situation, and that's it. They've lost him.
I'm also just thinking that even with that little kerfuffle there, we've got 4 Scotsmen in the top 10, or where did Curran end up actually?
So,
where did Curran end up?
Bjorkman has overtaken Don Stallman.
No, he wasn't in the lead anyway.
Oh, sorry, I missed that then.
Yeah, Bjorkman, a 47.8, fastest lap of the race, just went purple on the live timing at the moment. So, actually, got some serious play. A second a lap, in fact, faster than Dominic Stallman that last lap. So KXLY Music has put a driver of the day vote in for number 44, which is Billingham. So got a vote for Billingham, a vote for Dominic Stallman, and a vote for Heath so far in this race. We do need to have at least 2 votes, or well, we need to have whoever has the most votes, but 1 vote clear basically for somebody to get a driver of the day. Because the car disappears off into the wall in the background, potentially around the John Kidd, Moman kind of area of the lineup, but we'll stick with this for the moment, I think, because you've got Heath then up into 6th. Heath was the big winner out of that situation of Kidd and Murray, because it promoted him from 8th up into 6th and gave him those 2 places. Oh, and Heath just loses the rear end as I say that, and has given a place back to Kidd as they come out of chicane. It's so easily done, a little bit too much of a squeeze on that accelerator pedal, and the rear is coming round on this car. As I said earlier, it's best part of close to 500 horsepower, no traction control, and still a very lightweight car. It will come round on you very quickly if you're not careful. So dropping into turn 1 then, let's take a little look at the sharp end of the grid where Dominic Stallman has got to. We definitely need to keep an eye and see if he manages to bring that gap back down.
Yeah, I mean, he's just gone purple there. So Bjorkman went a 47.9 on the last lap, and Dominic has responded to that with a 147.8. So true to form, he's gone quickest again there. So he's got a 1.7 second gap that he needs to try and fall back in, which again, I wouldn't put anything past him because he drives consistently enough that he wouldn't make a mistake. I think Bjorkman did make a mistake in the last race.
Yeah, he did have a bit of an incident towards the closing stages.
So, I wouldn't discount that at all. And see there, even under braking, Stallman gained so much time back on him. It's just getting the power down.
Yeah, probably a tad deep there. The car is really unstable through some of these sections. It's a really hard track as well to get right. For a number of reasons, but the curves can be different and unsettle the car. Some of them are big bouncy curves, some of them you can use a little bit. Some of the AstroTurf drops away and can spin the car. Look at that, bouncing over the sausage curves a little bit. He has to wait to get the power down and then uses all of that extra rod off to then get a better line in. But look, again, the rear still twitching, but he has the confidence to keep the power down and know the car will stick. So that time round then, that was a 47.9, a tenth slower than the lap before. 47.967. He made up actually most of his time in sector 3, so it's that final sector he's really good. Walkman a little bit quicker in the first sector. Second sector is actually where Walkman's quickest though. Interesting to see. Harry Melvin doing a sterling job then, hanging on to third place at this moment. He's got himself a nice 8-second gap back to Steve's and that pack that was having their little battle. Oh, Stormer nearly loses the rear end there. That was a nice little catch, wasn't it?
Perfect car control there.
Putting on a bit of a show because he's hunted down. What's nice to see though is he's having to push, and I think sometimes it's almost a worry that he gets away and almost doesn't have to push too hard and just sort of sets into sailing mode a little bit. Chrissy definitely gives him a run for his money when he's here, but as he runs a bit wide there, but he's definitely having to push to try and bring this gap down.
I mean, in the last lap or 3/4 of the lap, he's just taken half a second out of Bjorkman, so now it's down to a 1 second gap, and Bjorkman's last lap time for 48.5, and Dominic's won again for 47.9. So you don't know, it could have been car setup or something in the very, very early stages of the race, and he's set the car up intentionally to come alive a little bit more in the last sort of 2/3 of this race. That wouldn't surprise me. I mean, he's really, really having to fight there. You can see that he's getting the car into all sort of different shapes there, but it doesn't look like it's out of control. I think it's all in hand.
So, looking back then, Neil Kidd was closing up on Weaver, not Webber, in 5th place, if I'm now calling him. So let's maybe take a look back and check that out for a moment and see how that battle's developing. There's David Murray in 7th, so Kidd in 6th, 1 up the road from where we are now. As always with Sheba, 2 by 2 they came. Look, we said it at the start.
Noah's Ark, aren't they?
Yeah. If you see 1, you'll see 2.
Plus buses.
Yeah, one doesn't come around for a while, then they're all there at once. And you say I'm bad for puns.
Yeah, I've been on it today, haven't I?
Got some serious multitasking as well with different screens on the go. It's tiring to watch.
Where's Curran gone?
No, we lost him a few laps ago, so I think that turn 1 or lap 1 incident was a bit of a
That's a shame, because that's going to really hurt his championship with such a strong opening round with a P2 finish there. Yeah, I've just noticed that he's dropped out of Discord. That's what prompted me.
Got a message from him. I think he's had a bit of an issue with Wayne Clark. So, well, we'll look into some of these after the race and see what we can do so people can learn from it and hopefully not do it again if there were any issues. We did find out as well that the Dan O'Brien jump start, I think, potentially could have been cleared as well, because it was just something to do with not swapping sides of the grid or something like that. But we'll look into that one as well afterwards. It's where just, I mean, like a real race, you need like multiple stewards in the background trying to keep up with everything. It's definitely given me an appreciation, I think, doing these live streams, what the real world stewards do. And,
yeah, 100%.
Marshals keeping an eye out for everything, as well as trying to keep people safe as well. We don't even have that aspect to worry about. At least if Curran went into the wall at high speed just now, he's actually okay.
Yeah. Yeah, 100%. And I think, again, obviously a lot of time and effort to put into this, but on the flip side, there isn't hundreds and hundreds of thousands of pounds and years and years and years of your life from the age of 8 years old that goes into it. So I think emotions run high, but nowhere near as high as what they should do or do in a real life situation. You know, they run high, understandably so, but I think, it's nice that you don't have to worry about aspects of like that, but can enjoy, the sport that we all love, which is, obviously motorsport, just in a different way with it.
Mm-hmm. Just looking, we've got another driver of the day vote come in. This one's from Lisa over on YouTube. He's voted for Billingham as well.
Shall we drop down and have a look at Billingham? So it's his first sort of round or ride out with InGear Motorsport this evening. Strong performance so far, really. Yeah, inside the top 10. He just missed out on the top 10 in the first race. Yeah. So going to score some points then, it looks like, in this race, if it all goes as planned at the moment. So, yeah, like you say, good results for him. Solid stuff.
I'm wondering if his livery's working now as well. So I know he had some Sony logos and a few other things on it, which all look very nice. Yes,
Yeah,
we'll go past it and see that, looking nice. I actually really like the shade of silver as well.
Yeah, it's actually different, isn't it?
Yeah, it does just, and it's not like mad chrome or anything like that, but it just works. So yeah, I know he's working on that. I was helping him get it set up and finished before we started earlier today. So glad we got that one working. I think that server restart worked wonders earlier on. I just like to say that it's not the years and years that everyone puts into real racing for the guys in this, but certainly a lot of effort still goes in.
Yeah,
And
absolutely.
it's nice to get it all working, looking good. So yeah, Billingham down in 9th at the moment. 2 driver of the day votes over on chat. Anyone's free to vote for a driver of the day. All you need to do is comment on either Facebook, YouTube, or Twitch. As we see Neil Kidd getting close to Murray then. So remember, they had a little bit of a coming together earlier in the race. Luckily not race ending, but they both did lose a few places from it. And they're now back together again.
Now is the team boss going to have full team orders here?
Maybe. Yeah, team boss being Neil's dog, Harambe. He's a Shiba, hence the Team Shiba Garage. Harambe does have a habit of just walking in. If you're actually playing with Neil on chat, you'll hear Harambe's collar shake in the background every now and then. So big shakes every now and then, just to let Neil know that he's watching.
Yeah, I must say those cars in the livery and then sort of on the topic of liveries, I think they look awesome.
Yeah, they've done a good job, haven't they? And it has actually got a Shiba on the back. We probably need to ride on a chase cam to see it, actually, which wouldn't be too bad. Actually,
yeah, I was going to say, considering Neil's all on the back of Murray there, isn't he?
It's not as obvious. Neil said something about waiting for Danny P to send a higher res version or something like that, but it looks good to me. Danny P, a busy boy with work tonight, I believe. Oh, Murray goes deep. Kidd goes a little bit deep, but Kidd's going to get the run into the next corner. And looks like he's going to make that move stick. Murray doesn't try and fight him so hard this time. I was
going to say that had been someone in a different team, then I think Murray might have come back onto the track a little bit earlier there. That was well played for going against your teammate, is what I would say. That was the right thing to do.
So now Neil's the one with the pressure of nothing to chase, nothing to gauge in front. As he takes a big chunk out of Murray there, actually, on the last corner.
I think Murray had a little bit of a drama coming out of that last corner as well there, and it's just given Neil a nice little bit of breathing space there. He can kind of relax on the steering wheel, just slightly going down that straight. He doesn't have to be sort of watching his mirrors too much. So just keeping an eye on this gap between Bjorkman and Stallman in P1 and P2. Still a second gap there. Dominic is noticeably faster than him though. Every lap is consistently sort of 4-ish to 5 tenths quicker, but it's kind of one goes quicker, the other responds, one goes quicker. So it's staying at that steady sort of second gap between them both there. Melvin in 3rd, so really, really good by Melvin again. Bingham and Melvin first run out with us with InGear Motorsport this Tuesday.
Yeah, back to
I feel like
that means it's Wednesday tomorrow and it's back to life and work, isn't it?
UK time for me tomorrow though, so that's good.
Yeah. No American calls.
No.
Good.
So.
I love that shot as they go into corner top of the hill there, campus.
Sounds like campus.
Yeah, just a little bit. Well then, looks like Kidd's got that little bit of a gap on Murray now then, so that battle's all been done for the time being. What happened to Heath?
Yeah, Ben sort of messaged saying that he dropped out. I did hear someone when I dropped into their Discord like screaming at one point that made me jump. So I'm going to make the assumption it was Heath. I could be wrong. But something's obviously happened there for him to drop
Dropping
out.
like flies today.
I'm sure we'll find out. This is good news though for Jack Taylor. Jack's had a little bit of a rough first round out, had no testing as we kind of mentioned on earlier on. He's currently running P11. You know, you've got to be in it to win it. And these guys that are dropping out are going to not have any points now, where what we need is for not someone else to drop out, but let's go with Moment, I think that is, in P10.
Hanging on the pubbers, or Rowett in 8th.
Yeah, one of the pubbers. We need them to have an absolute mare. Let Jack finish in the points, and it's all going to be all all is good. Because it is about finishing, isn't it? You know, this whole just dropping out business, we know it's an absolute bugbear of mine. So yeah, well done to Jack for sticking with it. You know, he had a really tough one the first round, and he stuck at it, got the laps in. That looked a bit sassy though.
He's having a few skids, isn't he? Yeah. He's just having a good time. He's doing a few skids, flying around there. I'm just looking, I can't see the logos on the side of his car either.
Oh, Heath is just popped up on YouTube. Murray for driver of the day. Heath, what happened to you? Let us know.
Yeah. What are you doing in chat, Heath?
Yeah. Need you back out on the track.
Yeah, so there's normally some InGear Media and InGear Motorsport stickers on the side of that orange Porsche as well. But Jack usually runs with the little blue flicks for the car. I have like a fluoro yellow, and when I get to racing, Chrissy's usually got the gold coloured accents. Kurt cannot get to grips with these these Bosch Beetles. Fair enough. Well, Dominic Stallman's still fighting the fight then, trying to chase down Walkman in the lead, but not managing to bring that gap down. They're kind of just taking a tenth out of each other here or there, and it resets again.
It's actually a 2-second gap now, so I'm not too sure what's happened there with.
He's dropped back a bit.
Yeah, with Stallman, but he's got back a second, which is very, very unlike Dom. So not too sure. Maybe the car set up, something like that. I doubt that with Dom though, because he's usually like absolutely on it with his setups.
Currently 8 tenths off of his fastest lap. Walkman around 4 or so tenths off of his fastest lap. So,
I mean, bear in mind, Dominic in the last few laps has consistently been around the 147.9 mark, 147.8. He has not been off pace at all, but he's dropped just over a second off there. So yeah, maybe we will find out after the race with that one. Neil Kidd then, so he's made a good job of that accident, not accident, but that incident.
Good accident,
word. I don't know what the right word is for that. Between him and Murray, so yeah, they are teammates as we all know, so she's the garage. He's managed to get a 7, he's managed to pull out 7 tenths on Murray, so he's got a nice bit of breathing space. And he's 2 seconds off of Steve, so...
Well, I think the live timing's about 20 seconds back, so something's actually happened again since that, looking at it on the screen. Because Murray has now brought it back again, but you're right, there was a gap. I'm trying to figure out if my screen's just a bit distorted or if Murray's got a dent in the bonnet. Not quite sure.
That's a good effort, as you can tell from our screen.
No, all looks okay. Just a paint job, yeah. It's a bit like when manufacturers are trying to hide their new car design. It's like a zebra-y type print they use. It reminds me of that.
I saw camouflage jag of some sorts the other day on the M25.
Yeah, normally slow enough to see things like that on there.
I wondered where you was going with that one for a second. If it was a Range Rover, I would have seen it because it would have been stopped on my shoulder.
So everyone, 7.5 minutes to go. So 4 or 5 laps, you could say. Dominic Stallman still trying to find an answer to the pace of Walkman at the moment. But just remember, we've got some driver of the day votes in at the moment. It's 2 for Binningham, 1 for Heath, 1 for Muzz, and 1 for Dominic Stallman.
Yeah.
From his dad. So there's at the moment Binningham will take it then with 2 votes, but we'll see if anyone else can beat that.
Who would your driver of the day vote go to right now?
Driver of the day, I would give it to Dom personally, but I'm not allowed to vote just because Dom does the best job. You know, he's stuck it out for both races. He does the testing, puts the time in. Didn't have the best of starts and has dropped back to second, but he's just chipping away at it, and he's going to take the best points that he can get.
Yeah.
So yeah.
Yeah, that's who I'd go for. Well, and just on that and chipping away, he's brought that 2-second gap down now to 1.2. So is he going to respond in the last 6 minutes? He's got time. You know, if he carries on lapping at the times he is compared to Bjorkman, there's time just. But, you know, probably needs to pull out more than half a second lap on him, to be honest, at the moment as well.
We haven't actually mentioned John Kidd as well, who's in 12th, so also a couple places away from points. Did score points towards the end of the GT3 Championship. So
John's been getting better and better, hasn't he?
Yeah.
I don't know how much time he spends on it, do you?
I don't think as much as the others, but I do see him on most nights. And again, sometimes like he's in the server with the other Shiba guys and the Fellas guys, they kind of team up and help each other out with setups and stuff.
Yeah, that's good.
During the week.
Yeah, no, he's definitely getting consistently better, and it does take time. It is one of those things. The more you do, the better you're going to get at it. Funny enough, isn't it?
Heath wants to change votes. Someone wrecked Taylor car just. Are you okay, Heath? Over in that YouTube chat.
Let us know what you mean with the Jack Taylor.
Someone wrecked Taylor car just.
Maybe it's
maybe
Northern
just now.
Speak.
But he's Midlands.
That's Northern.
We've got people from Aberdeen in this.
Yeah, that's very Northern.
that's north of the wall.
That's another country.
It actually is.
No. It's cold as well. Cool.
Yeah, Neil said he had snow the other day.
Blimey, O'Reilly.
So British. We always manage to get to the weather, don't we? Oh, look at this. Murray and Kidd, here we go again. Murray actually got through. So now Murray back up into 6th, and now Neil Kidd back down to 7th.
Oh, Rowett, who's on the back of them?
Rowett. Race director just popping up in my ear there. Stopped guzzling Monster for just a second there to pop a little message in my ear. We need to get him back. We need to get him back on the actual live chat so everyone can enjoy the little anecdotes that we get to enjoy. He said he'd be delighted, everyone. with his free screens.
I've lost being able to hear Ben in my ear, so.
What's that? You can't?
No, that's fine though. I'm not complaining.
Oh, someone smashed into Jack. So is he out of the race then? Because Jack got caught at the start. Yeah, he seems to think Jack got smashed into, and there's a message on Discord. That might have been earlier, I don't know. Is he still going? Oh no, well, he's now down in 12th. Oh no, he's still 11th. Yeah,
no,
still 11th. He's still going. There he is.
Yeah, Heath, you can. So whoever your final vote goes to, then we, absolutely, you can swap it. So it's looking like
it's now 2-2.
2 for Bingham and 2 for Dominic. So tiebreaker.
So actually now no one gets a point.
Yeah.
Well done, Heath. You've just robbed Bingham of a point.
You need to round up the troops for Dominic, or someone needs to round up the
troops. Here we go.
For Bingham.
Sorry to cut you off there, but we just got a scrap then. Dominic Stallman's finally brought that gap down. 3 minutes 40 to go. Can he challenge for the lead of this race and make it 2 wins out of 2 races tonight, or is he going to have to settle for second?
Now, I'm quite pleased with that, because that means my maths was right when I was working it out in my head.
What was that?
I was working out his lap times and how he needs to do in the time.
They're probably going to get 1 more lap after this. So we've got 2 laps to go, basically. As they round the second corner, long right-hander.
Pace-wise, he's miles quicker. If we take it on, and I know there'll be some sort of differences in this, but Bjorkman's last lap was a 150.7. Dominic's was a 149.8. So he took chunks out of him on that last lap. So is Bjorkman's tyres going off? I don't know, but Dominic will know exactly. He'll just sit back for a lap or a couple of corners, work out where his weak spots are, and he'll just pounce, won't he?
Yeah. He's not one to go for a crazy move, but he will definitely want to win this race. So it'll be interesting to see what he has. And we saw Bjorkman was running out of steam a little bit at the end of the last race. As he goes a bit wide there, he's now going to have to defend. Stallman goes to the outside then, heading into the hairpin. Who's going to be best on the brakes and get the run into the penultimate section in sector 3 of the lap? 2 abreast then. Looking close so far. Oh! And he makes it work around the outside. That was a blinding move.
Was driver of the day, hands down for that.
Well, we've just had another vote come in for Billingham, believe it or not, from Kenny Taylor. So Billingham leading the driver of the day vote, but that was a phenomenal move by Dom Stallman.
I love that. I love this when people start rounding up the troops to support whoever it is that they're watching in it. So yeah, good effort there with that one.
On the final lap. Give it all you can.
Lee's on the final lap then. I mean, he's not out of the woods yet, but he does have that little cushion, and we know that he has more pace. But oh, that's making me nervous seeing what we go to the inside.
I'm actually doing the Christian corner. On the things here.
Strap in then, people. We've got another about 1 minute's worth of action between these two.
I think we absolutely need to stick with this as well.
German of Stallman in the lead, Swedish driver Borkman in second, Weber down in third. Had a bit of a quiet race, but actually that means he's got past Melvin at some point. It's a shame because Melvin was on for a podium and a strong result there, but still solid points in the bag so far.
So Liam Sharma's gone for replying to Ian Waldy Ward vote. Oh right, he's replying to it. I get it, it's because we're looking at it on a different thing and he's on Facebook. So Liam's gone for Don Stallman as well. So I think it's 3 and 3 at the moment. So 3.
No, Liam had already voted for Heath earlier, I think.
Yeah, but has he changed?
Oh no, yeah. So it's now 3 votes each.
Yeah.
So there's no deciding vote yet. We need another vote for one of them. Billingham not Roland, Dom. Roland's watching Dominic's racing. So 3 votes for driver of the day each at the minute. But anyway, it looks like Dominic Stallman is going to close off this race with another win then. That was pretty good going to get up to the lead in the last couple laps.
That was a fantastic drive by him.
2 corners, 1 traction zone left. Let him get that out of the way first before we give it to him. Looking good then. Comes around the last corner. Dorkman has no answer to it with less than a second between them. Dominic Stallman takes the win for the second race tonight, making it 2 out of 2. Once again, I mean, can anyone stop him?
I mean, I think that there just shows not only has he got pure pace, but that was just absolute class at its finest when it comes to racecraft as well. Mm-hmm. You know, that was not an easy move for him to take. I think well done for Bjorkman for giving him the space. That could have so easily gone wrong then, but I think that was 2 very, very good drivers racing very, very well.
Yeah, and yeah, when the move happened, they both gave each other such a good amount of space, didn't they? Yeah.
I mean, it was close. Let's be honest. They weren't giving each other a wave through, but yeah.
Well, Melvin then has slapped himself slap bang in the sharp end of this, coming in 4th ahead of Stees, who's a solid driver, ahead of Murray and Kidd, who are also solid drivers. So that's a really good first showing from him. So just got to take a moment to give credit to Melvin there, I think.
Yeah, absolutely. Billingham as well in the points as well for first round out. Gutted for Jack that he did get in the points, but again, well done for him for sticking with it, and the same with John Kidd. Well done for sticking with it, because I think, again, it always goes back to that thing I say, the more you do, the better you're going to get, and it's going to make you a better driver at the end of it. If you're in a car that makes you feel uncomfortable, it will make you better because you have to get over it.
Yeah.
So
I was just looking and seeing, I think Jack's doing some skids on his in-lap. I'm not so sure. Maybe. Well, he's actually coming across the line there. 1 off of points, which is a shame for him.
Yeah, I know. So where have we got to then with the driver of the day result?
Well, at the moment, we've got Roland, Liam,
Heath
have all voted for Dom. Excuse me. And then we've had 3 votes for Billingham. So it's currently 3 apiece. I just want to check who. I think it was Ian Ward that voted for Heath. So that's 1 for Heath,
yeah,
3 for Billingham, 3 for Dom. So someone needs to split it at the moment.
I love that Roland.
Might not be racing tonight, but Roland is still watching, so that's good. It's nice to have you here still.
Well, we need a deciding vote, don't we? Or are we going to do a half point each? Or
we could do a half point each, but it's as good as 1 point for each then at that point, isn't it? Might as well have a point.
Well, you say that, but we could be in the same situation next week.
True. No, the rules clearly state at the moment that there has to be a clear winner, otherwise no one gets a point. So
see, I'm trying to be the good.
I better not change it. Well, I'm just going to go by the rule book, because somebody somewhere will go, well, that's not fair. Probably somebody with a Scottish name.
You heard it out for that lot today.
What's that?
Wind up mode. Can we just clarify as well what anyone thinks that Mackenzie's got a hatred against them? Mackenzie is half Scottish, so just want to clarify that. Hence the name. So
well, you know. I know certain individuals that that might have something to say. That's all. I have to chat to them all week in the Discord. You see, I know what they're saying. We've actually got most of the gang did come across then to the InGear Media box. Harry's in there in all of them, so he came across and joined the chat eventually, which is good.
Yeah, he's been in there the whole time. Yeah,
so he's been there the whole time. But I think we'll probably catch up with them more next time.
Yeah,
which is good. Okay, well, hope everyone enjoyed that. Let us know what you thought in the chat, those that are still there. Just a reminder, unless we get another vote in the next sort of 30 seconds or minute or so before we wrap up, it's currently a tie for Driver of the Day vote between Dominic Stallman, who won both races, and Ryan Billingham, who joined for the first time. So we need that one extra vote from somebody somewhere to split them. But yeah, great effort by Dom. That wasn't easy for him either. He had to really fight for those wins. So good to see. Are you prompting Father Burrish to get involved? Yeah, where did he go? He joined the chat before the race.
I don't know. I was surprised he even got onto YouTube, to be honest with him. But
now we can't hear race director Ben Meikle, but we never actually asked him.
I think we should bring him in.
Ben, come say hi to the lovely people. I don't know if that'll work for him. This is the interview of the century, everyone. Calm down. Contain yourselves. Hey, there he is. So this is the man behind the cameras, everyone that's watching on the live stream. The tens of people that join and tune in every week. This is the man controlling it. How was that for you, Mr. Meikle? Yeah, good. Who's your favourite livery that we can see so far?
I like his.
Oh, now I was actually going to say, I said that I can't vote for Driver of the Day in the rules and Charlotte can't, and I was going to throw it to you. However, we have just had an extra vote come in from Martin for Dom to get Driver of the Day. So that means that Driver of the Day point was stolen from Billingham the last couple of minutes there. But I do think Dom had a fantastic couple of races. So, but out of interest, Ben, who would you have voted for? Yeah. Cool, good stuff. Well, there you have it. Conclusive results, 2 race wins and Driver of the Day for Dom Stallman. Well, if you enjoyed that, we'll be back, everyone, in a couple of weeks' time to do this again. So we're moving to a bi-weekly format with our championships moving forward. I think part of the feedback was people kind of need a bit more time to test.
Yeah.
Perhaps in between, there's also other leagues and stuff going on. So it'll be every other Tuesday for the most part, bar the odd gap between some of the series. Obviously, Christmas will be in the middle of some of it. But for now, this championship will conclude in 2 weeks' time. So look out for us on socials. You can follow InGear Motorsport across all of the main platforms that you could look for. If you've been following along tonight on YouTube, please feel free to subscribe and come back and watch again. And really hope you all enjoyed it. I'll throw to Charlotte for any last closing statements.
Yeah, I thought it was brilliant, and love that we had some new followers watching. So thank you so much for that. It's always really good to have your interaction with it. I think it just makes it a bit easier for us, doesn't it, as well? And, yeah, just caught my eye as well. Roland's put, Dom's mum was watching with me. Guess who she is driving for? So I think we can safely say that Dom has got Driver of the Day. But yeah, for me, great showing by the two, not newbies, but newbies. So Melvin and Billingham as well there. So yeah, fantastic to have them on board. So yeah, just looking forward to it. Not next week, the week after.
Perfect. All right. Thanks, everyone. We'll see you then.
Ain't shady, baby, I'm hot, like the prodigal son.
There we go. Green lights, and we're off once again.
Speakeasy.
Big up battle, eeny, meeny, miny, moe, and flower. You're the chosen one.